Well, hey there, boys and girls. Spilly Chili here with another exciting episode of Issues, that show that's sure to make you regurgitate your food, go out to the pasture, and leave a little loaf for the future generations of America. And so today, folks, it's election time. That's right, we just had our midterm elections, and nothing but good came out of that. And I don't think anything good came out of that. As a matter of fact, nothing came out of that. And so let's just talk about it for a little while, just a very little while. Well, it looks like we've got Mitt Romney on one side, we've got Barack Obama on the other side, and our third party candidate of choice is Roseanne Barr. That's right, that's the best that the Green Party could dig up out of their grunge. I mean, come on. Roseanne Barr is going to go up against Barack and Mitt Romney? Ah, hell. You know what I did? I voted for King Spilly, and that's where the right vote should have gone, because he's the only one that really knows what's going on. Well, anyway, the number one job in America today is working for the government in the cybersecurity department. And for those of you that don't know what cybersecurity is, that's where all of our secret intelligence, or otherwise your phone calls, your emails, your personal documents, anything that's sent electronically now is now not just being recorded, but is being scanned on a daily basis. That's right, there's rooms with just hundreds and hundreds of people watching your every move. And if you're not being photographed on one of the hidden surveillance cameras around town, you're certainly being tracked by your phone. And so that reminds me of a wonderful little tale called 1984. That's right, a gentleman way back in the 1800s saw a vision about how society was going to be ruled by the very few, the very rich, the very elite. And guess what? The world is now being run by the very few, the very rich, the very elite. And a good way to watch this for those chili heads out there that find this all far too serious is watch a movie called Brazil. It's a Terry Gilliam film where he kind of takes his spin on the 1984 thing and kind of materializes it into something a little more funny, a little more easy to digest, but yet the point is the same, that our government is watching every move, and if you make one bad one, your ass is grass. And that's right, folks, that's what's going to happen. What rights? Your rights are to sit in a jail till we decide to do anything with you, because there is no habeas corpus anymore. There is no right to a jury trial anymore. A military tribune can take as much time as they want to prosecute you. So I hope you're happy with all that. And you know who's really doing this is the three cities. It's the Vatican, which is the church. We have the Crown of England, which is the crown, and we have the sword, which is America. And together, these three individual agencies are now being sponsored by, well, I'll get into that a little bit later. But anyway, these guys are the ones that are ruling the world. And speaking of the queen and the crown, it was just her 60th Jubilee as being queen. Isn't that wonderful? They had all kinds of parties and people were singing and there was parades and everybody just hurled around the queen. Well, I don't know if you guys know or not, but the queen is the number one reason for heroin exports ever. That's how they made their money back in the 1800s, was shipping heroin to all the people around the world through pirate ships and through their own brigade and Navy flotillas. They were able to get as much heroin into the country as possible. And thanks to the Queen herself, Afghan is doing terrific. There'll never be a better time to be an Afghani farmer as there is now, because our Queen, our Hail Majesty, is definitely keeping the drugs flowing. And as long as the drugs are flowing, you will be addicted one way or the other. Well, anyway, there's another thing that just is really irking me is, you know, we have our Republican people just talking about entitlements and how that we don't have the money for Social Security and we don't have the money for Medicare and we don't have any money to take care of our people. We're going to have to get rid of the food stamp program and all these homeless programs and redevelopment agencies and all these things that are good for the people have to go away because we don't have any money. Well, guess what, folks? You know what? $33 billion a year is going overseas to foreign investments in other countries. $33 billion, folks. That's a little bit of money And I think that would keep our entitlements flowing. But what I found out today when I was doing some research on this is, guess who's getting the bulk of that money? Israel. That's right. Israel's getting almost half of that $33 billion. And that just really pisses me off because that's a pretty wealthy, independent country as it is already. Why in the world would we be needing to give that? Oh, that's right, the Vatican's there. And what are they? They're the church. And without the church, we're not going to have a very condensed society that praises God and all that. So we got to have that. And you know who gets the next largest amount of money? Egypt. That's right. They get about a third of the money. And if you don't remember, so there's been a whole bunch of problems in Egypt lately. And the government's just been overthrown by our New World Order. And so very interesting facts. And then it breaks down to we got some money going to Peru and Colombia and Bolivia because the cocaine problem hasn't been ratified yet. And we need to get that cocaine flowing again to keep you people addicted. And without your addictions, our New World Order will never happen. So we need you to take care of that. So we're sending money to the African countries. We're also sending money to Bosnia for all the war efforts that we had there years ago. And of course, we're sending money to Pakistan because we have the counterterrorism thing going on there. Even though they hate us and they blockaded our shipping routes, it's okay. We're still sending money to those guys. And then, well, you know what? I got somebody here to talk to you. Our Secretary of State, Mrs. Hillary Clinton's here. And she's going to tell us a little bit about Burma and why we had to send $127 million to Burma because they have a New World Order government in charge. Well, guess what, folks? Hillary, so glad that you could be on the show today. I hear we're giving a lot of money to Burma. What's up with that? Burma is good, Spilly. Burma is good. But why Burma, of all places? I mean, you know, all of our Republican House members are saying that we've got to cut entitlements because we don't have any money, and yet we're giving billions and billions of dollars away to these foreign countries. Why Burma? Spilly, Burma is good. Burma is good. Well, now, you know, I hear that the largest amount of our foreign aid goes to Israel to fund their military operations. And, you know, I'm not really behind that, and I'm sure most of our American citizens aren't behind that. Why are we giving all that money to Israel? Israel is good. Israel is good. But, you know, Ms. Secretary, I'm so sorry, but we're giving a lot of money to Egypt, too, and those guys are an oil-rich country with total monarchy in charge. Why are we doing that? Egypt is good. Egypt is good. Oh, God. Really? That's the best you can do, Hillary? Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You really are what people say you are. Now leave me alone, goddammit! I've had enough of your shit. Goodbye! Oh, well, don't get so defensive. Good grief. Well, anyway, that was Hillary Clinton, folks. That was pretty interesting stuff, huh? Burma is good. Well, that's really nice. And I'm so glad that we're going to lose our Social Security and we're going to lose all of our health care benefits and all of our Medicare entitlements and everything that could possibly help Americans is being shipped to these other countries thanks to our good friends. And you know, I've been waiting to the end of the show to tell you who are our good friends that are pulling these strings and making all of our puppet politicians move. Well, guess who it is, folks? It's a group called the Bilderberg Group. This is a company that's so secretive that you don't even know who they are, where they are. Their only website says that they have a meeting once a year and that they've had meetings in the past. But nobody on any website anywhere has who these members are. Now, there's a lot of people that speculate and have some inside courses, and I suggest that you look up this Bilderberg Group because it's definitely an interesting bunch. But you know who the Bilderberg people pay is this new wonderful organization called this Center for Foreign Relations. and or it's the Council of Foreign Relations. I'm sorry, I made a big mistake. Don't shoot me. Yeah. Anyway, these guys, they're the most corrupt people ever. And you know what? It turns out it's Republicans, it's Democrats, and it goes way back. Bush and Kerry, they were both in on it. Obama, McCain, they were in on it. Clinton and Bush, they were in on it. Bush and Reagan, well, they were in on it. And all the secretaries of states and almost all the vice presidents for the last 15 years have all been part of this Council on Foreign Relations. In fact, Rumsfeld and Hillary and Bill and all these people are members. Now, you can find out quite a bit about this organization. There's now 4,000 members, and word's slipping about how these people are pulling the strings for the governments and putting New World Order in place. So I tried to get a job there, but the only way you can get involved with these people is to be nominated by one of their own. That's right, it's a secret group. So I need to get Dianne Feinstein or Bob Dole or any of those really corrupt people can nominate me, and then I can be on the Council of Foreign Relations and get those big suitcases that we so need here in Santa Cruz. And I tell you, if I get one of those suitcases, community TV will be set, let me tell you. But anyway, so that's all the bad news. Now the good news. All right, well, anyway, so that pretty much wraps up this part of the show. What I'd like to do is get on with the program. We have an interesting little skit here for you. This is Henry Kissinger meets David Rockefeller. Now, Henry Kissinger, as you know, was the Secretary of State under Nixon. He's been on the Council for Foreign Relations for many years. He's part of the Bilderberg Group. And yes, he is one of the head players in the New World Order. And of course, David Rockefeller is one of the most richest people in the world. He sponsored the the World Health Organization and the Rockefeller Center for Foreign Studies and all these groups that are going to kill you. So pay attention to this little thing. It's kind of fun. And then after that, I have an interview with Paul Galen, and then we'll wrap things up with Uncle Spunky. So anyway, on with the show. Well, Henry Kissinger, thank you so much for visiting us here at the World Health Organization. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm just fine, David. Thank you.
Well, you know, the reason I asked you here today, Henry, is that we've got a bit of a problem. This whole New World Order thing is taking far too long. We should have had this done at least 20 years ago. What's taking so long?
Well, these programs, they take time, you know, but the Bushes were not such the idiots. We would already be there by now.
Well, that's so true, Henry, you know, but if George wasn't such a knucklehead, we would have never been able to pull off 9/11. So we just have to deal with that setback and move forward. Now, Obama's done real well. What's the plan so far?
Well, we continue with our Middle East campaign, and we should have that completed in the next 4 years.
Now, is it really going to matter if we elect Romney or Obama this next election?
Hell no, it doesn't matter. They've always been on the both safe sides, Rockefeller. But David, there's one small favor that I need. I need a couple $trillion more for my personal bank.
Well, Henry, that's not a problem at all. We've got this big natural disaster planned. I think it's something to do with a super volcano. I'm not really sure, but when that happens, there's going to be so many people giving us money that they don't know what to do with all the cash. And we'll just put a few to the side like we've done in the past. In fact, I can almost guarantee you $1 trillion right now so we can finish off that Israel-Iran plan that we have in the works.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That will sure ease and grease the way for everybody to complete our New World Order, and we will.
Very good, Henry, very good. Well, it's good to have you here, Kyle, and we'll see you later.
Hi.
Bye.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Amen.
Well, hey there, boys and girls. I'm here with Paul Galen. Paul Galen was the coordinator for the Spring into Summer Festival that just happened last weekend. Now, normally I try to get guests on before the festival, but I didn't know Paul then. But I know him now, and he's a great guy, and I want you guys to meet him too. Paul, thank you so much for coming and being on my show today.
This is great.
Paul, this Spring into Summer Festival had a bunch of different artists and a bunch of different people, and it was just a really wonderful event. But let's start with a little bit about you. Why don't you tell the people at home a little bit about you?
What it is I've been practicing herbal medicine and nutrition for 35 years now, 40 years, and formulation under Herbal Products and Development, which is herbprod.com website, and that's kind of what I do to support myself. I've also worked doing everything from building to cabinetry to landscaping to cataloging plants and a host of other things, which brought me into a lot of contacts in the community. And I noticed that the Health and Harmony wasn't happening this year up in Santa Rosa, and I thought to myself impulsively, well, why not do a expo here in Santa Cruz, and let's showcase our local talent and what we have here, right here in River City, what we do. And this is the impetus for the event.
Wonderful. Now, what got you into doing this herbal stuff?
The herbal medicine?
Yeah.
When I was actually doing a lot with studying plants and photographing them and actually using them throughout South America and throughout the Western states and all throughout the country and in Central America, I got interested in knowing more about them and using them as components based on fluid extracts, based on extract powders, and using them in a lot of variety of ways to really get to understand the characteristic of them. And it naturally led to my passion for formulation because I saw a real need for that for people.
Well, did you have a bit of a chemistry background to be able to come up with formulations, or is this just something that you just, 3 parts of this, 2 parts, no, that didn't work, and
some
2
people,
parts of this?
It's working backwards a little bit, more of the alchemical background, in that I knew it inherently from all the study. You assimilate the knowledge, and then you work backward to clinically validate the information. So it's a little counterintuitive, but for me that worked in that kind of process.
Well, that's so fascinating. And so you've been able to travel around the world to study plants and stuff?
Yeah, I put a lot of my resources into travel, in which case I wanted to have a purpose, and the purpose was to photograph. And from the photographing, I got to learn the plants, learn the culture, get it more into depth, learn what the foods were, the customs of people, and I've spent a lot of my time throughout different Asian countries in South America.
That's amazing. How much fun. Now, how did you
great.
Get your financing to do this?
It's all self-generated.
Nice.
So I've always just kind of, whatever means I had, I don't need that. I mean, I live as I live, but I'm able to just keep going and the ideas that I want to disseminate, and that's my goal, is always what I call furthering the project.
So you got involved with this Spring into Summer Festival. This was the 3rd one now?
This was the first.
Oh, it's the very first one.
Yeah, this was just an idea and a concept to do a showcase of community based on vibrant health, wholesome food, based on the farmers. It was a benefit for the Community Alliance of Family Farmers, and homegrown music. So we had Alicia Feynman and Kimball Hurd and the Steve Graves Band. And what I did is I put together a really good event of multiple stages at the Center for Spiritual Living. We did a lot to promote it and all of that, and we had about an attendance of peaking at around 500.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
That was what it was.
Well, I know I was out there. We had a little community TV booth, and
Absolutely.
I had a chance to talk to a lot of great people from the community that were interested in what we were doing. But the part that I found fascinating was just the wide array of vendors that you had, from cranial exams to Reiki treatments
Yeah.
to spiritual cleansing. I mean, you had just about a little bit of everything that
Yeah.
somebody would want in an event like that. How'd you manage
well,
to get so many different people?
being in that field, I know a lot of the practitioners, and we had actually 24 different practitioners come to that, which is about a third of the booths. We also had food vendors, local food, and we also had a lot of eclectic stuff and photography and plants. And all sorts of
Yoga,
stuff.
and there was a little band
Yeah.
playing back there
Oh, yeah,
in the
there
back,
was a whole
the
healing
gypsy
dome.
kind of band.
Yeah, there was a healing dome, and we had a fourth stage. We had a garden stage, we had an auditorium. Of course, it was a nice day. It was hard on the auditorium, which was more for the night show. And so it's everybody's idea. I wanted to, in real time, incorporate it into the structure of which meant endless editing, but it was basically what it became.
Oh
It
yeah,
became
what a great time! Now, what's coming up here? You mentioned to me that
Oh.
there's another event coming up in Scotts Valley soon.
Yeah, Cheryl McEwen, I believe, she's doing spearheading an event that's in its 7th year at Sky Park in Scotts Valley. This is going to be on the 23rd. It's a Saturday, and it goes from around 9 to 5. And there'll be speakers. I'll be in the nutrition tent.
Nice.
But speaking about community, I'm going to speak about the community resource site that I did called unifiedcommunity.info. And I'll be talking
What's that again?
It's called unifiedcommunity.info. It's an informational website, no commerce. It's strictly information on community, and it has 1,500 links and 100 subcategories.
Wow.
The other site will be called Exploring Botanicals, and I'll be I'm initiating that now. It has 100 links and 100 bibliography, and that will be pictures, the English and Latin, the where found, country of origin, and a little write-up. So in one page you can see the pictures and the text of every plant, subjectively that I've captured on
Wonderful.
film.
Wow, that's going to take some time to get that all together, I imagine.
It's going.
Perfect. Well, what's in the future for Paul Galen? What do you got up your sleeves?
Well, so many things. I like to be available to advise and help on community events. I like to participate in those. I like to share resources with people and help people to be successful in that thing. I don't charge for that. That's just something I do as a matter of course. And I'll probably be making a lot of formulas more for myself and others. I do that also.
Terrific.
And I think the next place I want to go is to Sulawesi and Bali, and I've been to Bali and more in the Indonesian archipelago.
Right, there's stuff down there that's nowhere else in the world.
Exactly, and do a little snorkeling, and that's a whole other world that I want to explore.
Definitely another world. But it's a small world, and it's not hard to get to these places. It just takes a little bit of imagination, like what Paul has. Paul,
thank you so
much for coming down. We had a great time at your festival. You plan to do one again next year?
I can't say.
It's too soon after the last one, huh? The wounds are still fresh.
I hope somebody wants to carry the burning spear.
There you go. Well, thank you again, Paul.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. We'll
Appreciate
see you soon.
this.
Well, hey there, boys and girls. Your good old pal, Uncle Spunky Chunky Chili here. And I got something I got to tell you. This is really kind of important. So you better listen up, folks. This recession that they say we're in, well, guess what, folks? It's a depression. You know what? It's one of the worst ones we've ever had. And you know why? Because they did it to you on purpose. The rich illustrial bankers who have yet to be disclosed, but it's Rockefeller and Rothschilds and Warburgs and J.P. Morgan and those guys. They run a few banks. That guy that does Deutsche Bank, he's one of the biggest swindlers in the world. Well, anyway, these guys have planned this shit for years, and they just waited for the right opportunity to drop this bomb on us. And they've been working on it for the last 8 years, and now as a a political scheme. They're trying to say that things are getting better, but you know what? It's not getting any better at all. At least not for you. At least not for me. Well, anyway, guess what? The Federal Reserve, who controls all our money and we owe trillions and trillions of dollars to now, well, they're saying you're still screwed for another couple years of slow economic growth. And you know what? I have a feeling it's going to be a lot longer than a couple years. In fact, if we ever get out of the state we're in now, it'll be sheer luck. China is going to have to implode before anything's going to happen back here in America. Or you guys can wisen up. You know what? You can get smart and you can destroy the Federal Reserve. You know, and all of our governments committed treason against you. They've taken away the rights in the Constitution, and by doing so committed treason for our country. They're not out looking for you, they're looking out for the Bilderberg Group. That's right, the illustrious bankers, and Spilly already told you about that. So anyway, wisen up, folks. Smell the coffee. It's too late? No, there's still a chance. But unless if you get hip, and don't even think about Romney or Obama anymore, because they're both in the same bucket, man, the same bucket of crap that I step in on a daily basis. Those guys are in it. So time for a third party, time to remove incumbents, time to get a grip on our own reality and get rid of the Federal Reserve. Demand that the Federal Reserve's abolished. Otherwise, you're going to be working for them for a long time, folks. $52,000 is what you owe today. By tomorrow, it's going to be $72,000. Wake up, folks. Well, anyway, Spilly Chili signing out and wishing you a good month, and I'll see you next month. Bye now.
Mountain Mike's Pizza, where the freshest ingredients and delicious toppings equal great pizza. With a full salad bar, a buffet table, and a fun, family-friendly atmosphere. We got game rooms for the kids, 3 big screen TVs. Mountain Mike's Pizza, located at 3715 Portola Drive.